Okay, hey guys, so today's video is going to be Ghost Hunting 101, I guess you could say. This is going to be an introductory kind of video, just showing you the basics of ghost hunting. Now, I myself am by no means a professional paranormal investigator. I have been ghost hunting before to various locations. I've captured stuff that I consider to be evidence. But like I said, I'm by no means professional at all. I kind of just do it for fun and stuff. So if you're a seasoned paranormal investigator, this information may be a little redundant to you, and you might not enjoy this because it'll be so simple and so basic. So this is for people who want to begin ghost hunting or who are just interested and want to know, like, what do I need, where did I go, and stuff like that. So if you're interested in things like that, then keep watching. I have with me my computer, so that way I will not forget to mention, because I wrote everything down because I didn't want to miss anything. I wanted it to be as perfect of a little kind of instructional video as possible. Okay, so the very first thing that I would suggest is finding a location. Now, the best way to capture any kind of evidence or to experience anything is to go to a location that's allegedly haunted. So, I mean, you can just, go up into your basement that seems really creepy and try to do, get EVPs there or something like that. But I highly suggest, especially if it's your first time, to go to somewhere that is alleged to be haunted, that where people claim to have seen things, or heard things, or captured stuff. So that way there's just a better chance and you're in the right environment for the ghost hunting. So there are a few websites that you can go to, like hauntedplaces.org and ghostofamerica.com. Now with those, they're really easy to use because you can just type in your city and then it just shows you a list of all of the places that are alleged to be haunted, and you can just choose one and go to it. So let's say, for example, I live in Los Angeles. I type in Los Angeles, and let's just say the first thing that pops up is a abandoned hospital. So I would find the name of that abandoned hospital and then get out of that website and go just to Google and type that in and try to research as many things as you possibly can about this location. Now, the reason that I say this is because when you go there, you want to have an idea of what you're looking for. So, you can go there just blindly and, say, oh, are there any spirits here that would like to communicate and stuff like that? And of course, it's possible that you can get, an intelligent response or an EVP or something like that, because obviously, like I said before, it's haunted. But personally, I think it's best when you kind of do research on the area that you're going to. So like I said, for example, if you're going to an abandoned hospital, kind of get an idea of what people say they see. Like if someone claimed that they speak to a little girl when they go there, and that's like the known resident ghost is a little girl and her name's like Madeline or something. So then when you go to this location, then you'll have a list of questions that you can ask, like, can I speak to Madeline, as opposed to, can I just speak to any other spirit? And I think that gives you a better chance of capturing something or experiencing something, because if you're asking for something directly, you have a greater chance of kind of getting a response, which I think is really good. So make sure that you have kind of an idea of the history of the place and that you have an idea of what everyone claims to have seen or heard or things like that. Okay guys, so you have your location, you did your research, and you have the questions that you're going to ask. Now it's time for equipment. So equipment can get really, really fancy and get really expensive, but I have never used anything that was over $70, and I've done just fine. I'm gonna upload a video of all my evidence combined into one video soon, so if you guys are interested in that, then I guess subscribe so you can see it, or just come back to my channel another time and it will be there. And if it's already up, then I will link it in the description so you guys can see it. But I've gotten a lot of really great evidence with all of the equipment being under $70, and I have an SB7 which costed around $70, and I've never gotten anything on that, so it really just depends. Okay, so let's start with EVPs, which is an electronic voice phenomenon. So that's usually when someone just captures a voice or whisper, but it's a disembodied voice, meaning it's not connected to a physical body or a physical object. So for that, I use a digital recorder. They run about $35.99 on eBay, that's the average. But like I said, you can always just use the voice recorder on your phone, which I think works just as good, but I like to use a separate device just so there's no interruptions, like if a text message comes through or something like that. It's just purely a digital recorder. And like I said, those run around $35.99, but if you get them used, I've seen some used for around $15. And these are current prices because I looked on eBay just before doing this video. And also, when you're recording an EVP, I suggest that you have your device that you're going to record with and have everyone in the room stay as quiet as possible and then ask your question. For example, if you went to a hospital and it's known to have a little girl named Madeline, what you would do is one of your questions would be, can I speak with Madeline? So you hold up the recorder and you say, can I speak with Madeline? Well, everyone else in the room is quiet. Ask your question and then give it a few minutes, because spirits don't have as quick a response time as we do, so they can't always respond so quickly. And sometimes you won't get intelligent responses and you'll just kind of get a voice saying something randomly, or you may get someone saying something rude. You just really never know. So just remember to have moments of silence in between your questions, so that way you can be able to hear. And if anybody does talk, remember to tell them not to whisper, so that way you won't confuse what they say, their whisper, with something else. Now, of course, a night vision camera would be amazing. I think there's one for $149. That's pretty decent on eBay right now. I wish I had it. I would love to have a night vision camera, so that would be my ideal, but you don't need it. Because, like I said, I've captured things just using my iPhone and also just the regular point and shoot camera. So you don't really need any kind of fancy devices or fancy cameras for that. But like I said, I think night vision would be just 10 times better, because I feel like I may have missed some things because my cameras didn't film in the dark. So I don't know. So there's also a way to speak with spirits directly. You can use a spirit box, an SB7. That's what I have. Those run about $69 on average, but you don't absolutely need it. I have never, not once, captured anything on the SB7 at all. In my previous videos, people say I'm not using it correctly, but I did my research and I am using it correctly. I just really haven't got anything. So it really just kind of depends, I guess. Maybe I'm just not lucky. I don't know. But again, like I said, you don't need that. Now, apps for your phone, a lot of paranormal investigators don't really like those and don't believe that they work. For me personally, I have had some really good responses. I had someone said my name before, and I just think it's a nice way to have direct communication with the spirit or something. So the ones that I use are Ghost Radar and JoesBox. JoesBox is an app version of an actual paranormal communication device. I had to pay for that. I think it was about $1.99, and it's only available on Android, so I had to use an old phone of mine that I had, and I think that one works really, really well because you can hear the actual voices, just like with the SB7, which scans radio frequencies really quickly, and you're supposed to hear the spirit's voice directly, their actual voice. So I think that's what's really cool. But for me, like I said, the SB7 never worked, so I used the JoesBox app, and that's worked pretty well. Like I said, I'll have a compilation video of all my experiences, hopefully, link in the description, so I'll be uploading that very soon, if not. I would also recommend getting a K2 meter. Those aren't that expensive either. They're around $40 to $50 on average, and those measure electromagnetic fields. A lot of people use those to not only measure the energy around them, but also to have communication with the spirit and have them manipulate the lights. Like, yes, if they ask a question and they say, oh, if that's a yes, make the light go to green or something like that. And I've witnessed that live, and that usually works out pretty well also. So that's kind of a tool that has like a multifunctional kind of thing, because you can communicate and have them manipulate it and also measure the electromagnetic fields. So that's a good one I suggest investing in eventually. There are a lot of other things that you can use, but this video I've only wanted to include things that I actually used personally, so that way I can give you a real review and kind of a real idea of what works and what doesn't work. So that's why I'm only including the things that I've used. And lastly, I want to talk about a flashlight. So I used just a regular flashlight, and I asked spirits questions, and I said, turn the light on if you can hear me, turn the light on if the answer is yes, etc. And it has worked for me before. I have that on video also, so like I said, link in the description, or the video will be up soon. So I think that's a really good thing, and it's really inexpensive. You just buy a flashlight, easy. So if you don't want to buy the K2 meter and you don't want to buy a digital recorder and you don't want to really invest in paranormal investigating equipment that's specifically designed for that or something like that, maybe you kind of just want to see if you're interested or not, I suggest getting a flashlight, getting the app, and using like your phone to record video and audio. And I think you'd be just fine with that, and I think you'd do pretty well. So again, it doesn't have to be expensive, and that's the purpose of this video, is just like a beginner's guide to just, you know, get your feet wet and get into this whole world of paranormal hunting, paranormal investigating. Okay, so now you have your location, you did your research, you have your questions and equipment, and now it's time to actually go to the location. Now, I suggest hunting at night. It's just adds to the atmosphere, and it's usually quiet in the surrounding areas, so you don't get any exterior noises from all this other random stuff and then confuse it for actual evidence. So I suggest going at night, and this might sound silly, but wear comfortable shoes because you never know what you're going to encounter, what you're going to run from. So that's a big one, at least in my opinion, is wear shoes that you can run in, or that you can, because you never know also if you're investigating somewhere that's like abandoned or like something like that, you don't know what you're going to step on or what you're going to encounter. So that's a really important one in my opinion. Another big one for me is never go ghost hunting alone, not just because, you know, the spirits will attack you and you'll never come back, but also just in general for safety reasons, because more than likely you're going to visit a place that's abandoned or visit a place that's really lonely, and you're going to be there at night, so it's just dangerous in just a general way. You just never really know what you're going to run into, so I just suggest do not go by yourself, and use the flashlight that you're going to use to ask the questions to make sure that you can see where you're going so you don't fall and get hurt, and then it turns into this whole other thing. So just really make sure that you're safe. You go with a group of people, but I highly suggest you go at night. Okay, so now you're in there and you're ready. This is the thing you have to remember, that you're not always going to get something right away. You're not always going to experience something. Do not go into this thinking that you're going to capture an apparition of a woman and also an EVP of a demonic sounding voice telling you to get out. You know, it's just not realistic, unfortunately. Like when we see all these shows and all these videos of people getting really great evidence or really compelling stuff, you know, it's not always, they didn't always get it first try, or they waited there for hours and hours. And any seasoned paranormal investigator knows that it's a lot of waiting. It's a lot of hoping. It's really, consistency is key in this kind of thing. If you don't get something the first day, go back. It doesn't mean that the place isn't haunted. It's just you didn't have any luck that day. So you just have to kind of remember that just because you didn't get something doesn't mean that the place isn't haunted. And it may take hours for you to get one EVP of faint whisper. And that's just realistic. I don't want to lie to you guys and say that if you go to a haunted location, you're just going to have, you know, come back with all this evidence. So that's not realistic. So I just want to be honest with you guys. It's a lot of waiting, and a lot of people don't like to wait, and a lot of people get anxious and antsy and they kind of give up. But I mean, I can tell you that the people with the best evidence and the best stories are the ones who waited it out and, you know, put in a good couple of hours and, you know, took the time and were patient. So that's just the reality of this whole ghost hunting stuff. So it's also important to remain objective. Don't just think that every sound you hear is a ghost. Don't think that every sound you hear isn't a ghost. You have to just really be objective and really look at every situation, everything you hear and see, and really think about it. And as much as you want it to be something, if it's not, then it's just not. You know what I mean? And sometimes some of the best paranormal investigators, you know, their first couple of tries, they just didn't get anything, but they kept. So that's the kind of the main thing that I think that you should take away from this video. Now that you have all the tools you need to get there, just really remember that you have to be patient, and it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen right away, and it just makes it that much sweeter when you actually do capture something, because then you're really, really excited. You're like, wow, after all this time, I finally got something really, really good, really hard evidence. So, and you'll be proud of it, which is really cool. So that's what I suggest. Just be objective. Don't automatically assume it's a ghost for sure. Don't automatically assume that it's not a ghost. Just remember to keep calm also. Okay, and lastly, once you get home and you have all your evidence, you may not think that you captured anything, but go home, review all your evidence, watch all your videos over again, listen to all your audio over again, but do it with headphones. Maybe have others listen to it too, just to make sure you guys didn't miss anything. Yeah guys, so just I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I really hope that it was helpful. Let me know about any of the evidence that you've captured. If you guys capture anything and make a video about it, send me the link through Instagram or Twitter or something. I would love to check it out. Yeah, so I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and as always, just please remember to like this video if you like this video. I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.